Hey, BassGeek here, and in a poll, you geeks asked me how I would catch bass shallow in the winter. Well, this is one of my favorite ways to do it. That's right, geeks. I'm going to call this shallow, at least as shallow as I tend to get during the winter time on the lakes that I fish. And you can see right here beside of me some pretty steep walls right here as they let the water down. One of the things that I like to do is find those steep walls. And for me, what does that mean? It means I want to find creek channel swings and I want to fish those bluff walls. And this is a great little bait other than the crankbait when it's nice and calm outside to get some really good bites. So one of my favorite things to do is actually use one of these. Now, what the bass can do a lot of times, if we're fishing down bluff walls, and not all bluff walls are created equal. I'll show you a little something about that here in just a minute. But this is a great little bait to get in there tight and call them up because it's got a little bit of vibration. Or fish it if there's a blow down or a lay down, fish it over top of that. That little bit of vibration has got such a good drawing power. Anytime you've got something with a major vibration, one of the things I always say is make sure you've got a little bit of overcast or a little bit of chop or places where the bass can hide. And that's what's great about a bluff. A lot of times they're going to have these undercuts in them. And as you fish that by where they can get back in there and hide, they're going to come out and see what it is. And a lot of times that means they're going to see that it's lunchtime. Now, one of my favorite, we're going to call it a scrounger or vibrating swim bait head, is the Pulse Fish head. And they come in several sizes. Now, if you're fishing super ultra shallow, two of my favorite sizes is the 1/8 and the 1/4. I don't have any 1/4s with me today, but I do have some 1/8 sizes. Now, as you get into early pre-spawn and the bass are starting to move up, or you've had a few days of warm temperatures, this is for sure what you want to go with because it's very finessey. It's going to give off a little bit less. You're not going to be able to cover water with it or maybe cover as deep, but this is the 1/8 ounce. And that's why I like to throw this during the winter time, is because it does have such a great drawing power. So it'll bring the bass to you even when the water temps are down in those 40-degree water temps. You know, I start fishing for winter bass once we start getting down into the low 50s and those 40 degrees, at least where I'm at, mid 40s is where it's really sets in. Now, they do come in a few different color heads. I think this is like the smoke head, but this is one of my other favorites. And I don't have the 1/2 ounce with me, but this is a 3/8. 3/8 and 1/2 ounce are two sizes that I like really well also. The size we've been catching them on today is this size. And again, I like to throw a little bit heavier. It's going to really depend on how deep those channel swings are, those bluffs are where you live at, or those drops where you live at. This is the 5/8 ounce. And it allows me to be able to reel a little bit faster and keep it up in that 10-foot range, but be able to really just kind of let it pendulum down and pendulum back to me in a little bit deeper water and a good slow retrieve. Again, this is the 5/8 ounce. You need to throw a bait that's a little bit bigger. You're around some gizzard shad or you're around some bigger bait, or you need to get this bait down deep. Well, they make them in some pretty hefty sizes, and this is the 1 ounce head. So I'll put links to everything in the description that's in this video. Some of my favorite trailers to add on this, believe it or not, you can put worms on it. You can put some shad type worms on it. Any trailer that you like to use with a chatterbait, you can use on this. One of my favorites here, and what we've been catching them on today on bluff walls, is this little sucker. And this is from Ramsey Baits. I had him make me one of these in this particular color. This is called Smelt, and it's called Blue Chartreuse. Now, some of the other colors that I really like are these two. This is like a caffeine shad color, ghost shad, and this is called a natural green. I had him make these two up for me too for the clear water that I'm in. Another one of my favorites is this. This is from Duo Realis. This is the Versa Pintail. Really good little jerk bait. Love how it's got that deep body to it. It's got a really great fall, by the way, as just a jerk bait because of that deep body. But it also makes an incredible little trailer. This color is light pro blue. All right, geeks, I'm just going to show you the knot that I'm going to tie. Basically, this is a San Diego jam. I call it my upside down jam, so I go through the top and then through the bottom. Ow, ow. Moisten, pull down, and there you have it. We're going to cut that tag in. What I like about that upside down jam is that the tag end points down, so if you do have some trash in the water or anything, it's not getting stuck or grabbing debris or a lot of grass if you got a little bit of sparse grass in there. All right, this is my finesse swim bait setup. So I can actually throw little, 3-inch Kitex and stuff on this, but this Tactical Elite, it's the Taction Now from TFO. I will put links in the description for that. And this, love this reel from Akuma. It's the Hakai. This is a 6-2-1, and that allows me to be able to make long casts because this rod is a 7'3" medium fast action, so I can throw some of the baits a mile with this rod. And I couple that, of course, with 10-pound 100% Pro 100% fluorocarbon from K9. You can check that out down here. But that is a killer combo to throw this. Now, if you're going to throw some of the 1/8, 1/4, I would heavily suggest throwing it on a spinning rod combo. And again, I'll put links to the spinning setup that I like to use in the description below. So the very first thing that you need to know about bluff walls or just steep banks, all right? If you're in lowland reservoirs, just steeper banks and channel swings is this. You can see up here, your lines are farther apart, but you can see right here, they get very steep. And you can see these little purplish dots represent the old river channel. Well, if you come across here, you'll see it's very steep until it gets down to 90 and 100 foot of water. These are bluffs. But what makes a bluff better than others, say this bluff here, is a nice spawning creek. We've got a good creek with a few ditches off of it that allows for bass to pull out here to winter, pull up here in the fall, and in the spring to either feed or to lay their eggs. Now, it's even better if you can find a bluff wall that's like this. Here you have your bluff, here you have two different major creeks. So I want somewhere that the bass are going to move for fall and winter when they go shallow, and then back out to those steep areas during the winter and during the summer. So, just like we talked about with the crankbait before, one of the things that you're going to want to do is get in tight. Now, again, I like to stay out a little bit cast off the open water side and then just bring the rod over, but I'm gonna let that thing kind of come down. I'm not gonna reel it real fast, just gonna slow roll it enough to where I can feel it going doop, 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 giving me that thump, that return in the rod, so that I know it's doing its job. Just gonna reel it, not gonna stop it, just a steady reel. If you feel something hit it, do not stop. Keep going, reel until it loads up. Then you're gonna side set just like a swim bait. You wanna try and get it away, either by using your trolling motor to move away from the bluff wall, or bringing it around to the other side, the open water side, if it doesn't hit right beside the boat, of course. Like I said, the retrieve is just gonna be a nice steady retrieve. And if you're going slow, you're probably going too fast. If you think you're going slow, you're probably going too fast. You wanna make sure that you're just feeling that vibration, just enough thump. If you're not feeling it every once in a while, you can give that rod just a nice quick twitch or pull, and it'll fire that right back up. Setting the hook, like I said, side set, and then that's a good solid hook. They put solid hooks in here. Now, you might not want to boat hop a 5-pounder on the 1/8 ounce, but the 5/8, I'd put it right in the boat. If not, get your net, get him on your thumb, one way or another. Stay tight to that bluff water, that channel swing. Geeks, it really is that simple. Depth is going to be controlled by weight. So, and like I said, I like it to be able to cover some depth, so I throw a little heavier one myself this time of year because I want it to cover some different depth zones as I'm looking for these bass. In a little bit dirtier water, there is an incredible skirted version of this that's a little subtler than a chatterbait and can be a great 1-2 punch with some sort of bladed jig or chatterbait. And if you want to see that video, make sure you go check it out right here. It's pretty impressive. Otherwise, questions, comments in the comments section below. You geeks know I love to talk fishing with you. Like it if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe. Make sure you ring that bell so you get these notifications. Be part of the 100% Watch Squad. You geeks rock.